What are your plans with skins and designs?
So snow maps can be done. They're ready to do it right now. It's just,
will there ever be solo mode?
this man needs to answer.
I did not expect to get that answer at all. What's going on, gang? It's your boy iStream. I am here today in More Fun Studios HQ with Iming and Zach. Zach is the publishing manager for Arena Breakout and Iming is the producer for Arena Breakout. And I'm here today to touch base on how the whole game is getting on since the global launch. And also, I have a list of burning questions that you guys have asked me to ask the devs. So these are questions that a lot of people have asked for. I basically asked on my YouTube, you know, what kind of questions do you guys want me to ask the dev team? And these are the questions that have been asked most of. But generally speaking, you know, I want to start off by asking you guys, how is the game performing? How do you guys feel since you launched the game globally?
Take it away.
你要不翻译一下？
Great. Take it away, Mr. We call him Dashan.
Dashan.
Dashan is
Dashan, okay.
his nickname.
Dashan. Okay, so Iming, aka Dashan, is basically, yeah. So what's gonna happen is Iming is gonna answer. I'm gonna ask in English because I don't speak Chinese. Iming is gonna answer in Chinese. Not yet. I'm gonna learn. But Dashan is gonna answer in Chinese so he can answer eloquently as best and as clear as he can. And then our boy Zach over here is gonna translate as best as he can.
Creative.
Yeah. So yeah, how's the game been treating you guys, I guess, since the global launch?
我觉得实事求是的讲 ，actually 它并不是一个那么的，就是说一个非常非常意外的一个状态，应该说还是比较符合我们的之前的一个预期因为这个游戏它在我们之前在接触的时候应该聊过，就是它是一个比较 hardcore 的一个状态，它是比较核心向的一个状态。那么对于很多手机用户来说，它可能需要时间去适应。对，所以我们的海外版本呢，目前看来它是在增长，但是呢，它并不是像一开始很多人期望的那样是一个爆炸的一个状态。对，但总的来说呢，这个跟我们之前的一个判断是一致的。
Yeah, so it's meeting our initial expectations. Because we know that Arena Breakout's a hardcore game, which on mobile is going to be probably a tough pill to swallow for a lot of players.
Yeah.
And so we never expected it to be a blockbuster, and it is where we wanted it to be, and it's growing, which is what we need and what we want. So it's meeting our expectations, and we're growing it slowly, and we have more plans to continue that growth.
Good. Yeah, very good. What is the actual aim for Arena Breakout? What is it that you want to deliver for the gaming market, for the gaming community? What do you, I guess, market Arena Breakout as? Because there's a lot of people that are still unsure what the game is about. Is it realistic? Is it hardcore? Is it, is it a team-based? Is it, solo? That sort of thing. What is Arena Breakout in a short sentence?
其实，怎么说呢？我们认为说。我们想带来的这个体验，它本身是非常新的，这种战术射击的体验，我觉得你可以
同时翻译，
不用同时翻译，就是说我可能会说一些比较复杂的，你可以随时跟他讲，好吧
？So we're just talking this kind of tactile experience is what we're aiming for. Is it's pretty new, right?
Yeah, definitely.
对，所以它不太能够说用。以前的我们的一些传统的这种 type 去概括它。
传统 type。
对，传统的这种就是种类啊、品类啊这种方式。
So it doesn't really fit a traditional game type because there's shooting obviously, but there's other components to that that are different from some other shooting games.
Yeah. So you're basically paving the way for something new.
是的。
Right. That's what it's for.
我们在尝试。
Yeah. Well, I have like I said, I have a bunch of questions here, gang, right, that we're going to ask the devs that you guys always ask me about whenever I stream, so I'm going to ask the devs now. The first one, this actually gets asked a lot. Are we ever going to get a snow map or a small factory map where it's just really small, close quarters, PvP, non-stop action. Are we ever gonna get those kind of maps?
我们会看到，其实我们看到很多玩家是有这样的诉求的，非常非常多的玩家，不论是中国的玩家还是来自全世界的玩家，他是有这样的一个诉求。
We see a lot of players with that, they want that experience.
Yeah.
Whether it's China or global, a lot of players want that kind of experience.
Yeah.
是的，所以我们做了一些尝试，我们尝试在我们的运营活动当中推出这个比较小的地图，当然目前并不是一个叫做专门为这个 PVP 设计的地图，它是从现在的这个常规的 map 里面去切割一部分出来。
So we're testing and experimenting with our live ops, and you can see that with some of the limited time modes that we put up. Like recently we got the trading post assault.
Yep.
And also Northridge rush.
Rush, yeah, love that mode.
Rush mode. We're experimenting and trying new things.
Yeah.
But nothing has been done for PvP specifically. These are all
there or thereabouts. Yeah.
Adjustments based on what we have.
How have the player base actually received Northridge Rush and trading post assault? Like, have you guys seen a lot of players actually playing in it more than you thought or less than you thought? I don't know if you're able to answer that.
这个是一个有意思的话题，就是我们实际上观察到说它的结果既不像我们想象的那么的大家非常的 buy in， 非常疯狂的去全部的投入到 PVP 的这个游戏当中去，也并不是这个一个非常就是非常少的人去玩这个 mode。实际上它是一个很综合的状态。我们看到很多玩家他在初期的时候他非常有意愿的尝试，但是呢在后续的游玩当中呢，他们会觉得这个东西又好像不如我们的主模式好玩，对，他们又会回到这个主模式当中去。
So we've seen initially there's a lot of interest in this kind of stuff, but a lot of players after they play it and experience it for a time, they actually want to go back to the normal modes that we have. This is from a big data perspective, right? Like, of course, there's some players who are interested in specifically playing PvP, but for our players who are really invested in Arena Breakout, they prefer the traditional modes.
The core mode, yeah, of course, yeah.
It doesn't mean we're not gonna create new experiences like that, but we see that players enjoy that mode.
I think it's a nice break from the core mode, and then once they've had a lot of that event experience, oh, actually I missed the core mode, so it's kind of like a cycle of.
所以这个不意味着说我们不会去做这个尝试，那但是呢，我们在做这个尝试的时候，可能会考虑的会比较多，我们会比较谨慎。
Yeah, so it's like I just said, it doesn't mean we're not going to continue experimenting and trying new things, but we definitely keep in mind that our core audience really likes the gameplay that we provide normally. But I think one interesting example is the trading post assault. It's one of the smallest maps, and there's no entry requirements. You can just jump in with anything, right?
Yeah.
In China, at least, it became really popular for
it's a good mode
for turning operation supplies over, and people would just bring in tons of stuff,
run
through it, and sell it all. That's the thing. Is like it's not just PvP. Some players are interested in economy, right? So we got to keep this
absolutely
up in mind.
Yeah. That's actually a good base to cover. All right, so going back to the question though, are we ever going to get a snow map and or a very small factory map?
Like a PvP map.
小地图的话，我们其实有尝试，对，我们在很多运营活动里面去做过这样的一个更专注在 PVP 上的这个非常小的一个地图。
So we've done small PvP focused maps from a live ops perspective, limited time, small adjusted customized maps.
对，我们会看到说确实有很多玩家很喜欢但是呢，这个里面也是一个比较复杂的状态。就并不是像大家想的那样，大家在这个小地图里面很专注的去这个玩 PVP 的这样的一个体验。
So there's some players who really enjoy that experience, but we've also seen some players are kind of confused by it because it's maybe not necessarily the gameplay they want in Arena Breakout.
So you're not sure about releasing a very small map, like Factory?
我们现在我们仍然在做尝试，我们会因为本质上来说的话，因为 Arena Breakout 的玩法是比较复杂的， 对，举个例子，比如说我们现在出小地图，我们希望大家都专注的去做 PVP， 但是呢，会有很多玩家在里面跑伤，对吧？跑伤你可以解释。
So we're definitely experimenting and seeing what players like and take to. And it's not going to stop us just that some players want a PvP, some players don't want a PvP. But when you put those modes out, you'll see some players are confused by it. Like they'll go in like the trading assault, trading post assault. They'll go in and do the 跑伤, the merchant, the gun runs, gun runs, right? So there's a tension there between the PvP players and the
economically biased players. What about a snow map though?
Snow map, that's a good question. 我们可以做，我们已经 ready 没有任何问题，但是问题是，手机的硬件现在并不是十分的支持，对，所以如果我们做的这样的一个 map 这样的一个 feature 的话，那可能只会服务于少部分的手机的硬件。
So snow maps can be done. They're ready to do it right now. It's just, but it's kind of a hardware spec situation where not every phone could support it. And we got to keep in mind all the players. Our maps and the goal of the design team is to make new experiences. And that means not just a visual aspect, but a gameplay impact as well. So that needs to be seen in the final products.
So if you were to make a snow map, you want it to be an actual snow map where people, if they prone in deep snow, they'll go in the snow, that kind of thing.
Maybe.
Rather than just, it looks like a snow map, but it doesn't actually offer the snow.
对，就不是只是一个变了白的地图。
It's not just going to be a map reskin. Right?
Makes sense,
But maybe.
但是如果我们在里面，比如说我做了那个脚印。
For example, if there was like footsteps, right? Footsteps in the snow. That could be one gameplay aspect. Implication of snow, right?
But then the hardware comes into play because of that. Makes sense, Speaking of skins, what are your plans with skins and designs? Because I know that you guys get a lot of questions about this. Like, are you going the colorful route, the unicorn route, that sort of thing? What is the design that you guys see in the future for Arena Breakout?
这个是关于那个皮肤的是吧？这个也是一个非常有意思的问题。我觉得哪里的玩家其实大家关心的都差不多。对。中国的玩家也很关心这个问题。
This is also China domestic and global. The player base is all pretty much in line with what the likes and dislikes are. Like it doesn't matter who. If you ask a Chinese player or a player in the Philippines or the U.S. or wherever, they kind of all have similar tastes.
所以怎么说呢？就老实说 ，to be honest， 我们是非常的想要去让我们的游戏变得非常的酷，然后非常的有这种军事感。
So we want to have a military feel, a military look and feel. That's it's cool, like you said.
对。
But not just. I think if it's just strictly military, you get some.
这个其实是我们一直在贯彻的。我们会把我们现在这个产品的格调称之为一种美学。
So military theme is an aesthetic, right? And that's one aesthetic that is interesting. When we have a game as a service like Arena Breakout, it's online, it's always running. You get lots of different kinds of players in who have lots of likes and dislikes, and you need to keep in mind a lot of them. And 后面我忘了。
他想要变得有个性。
And we want to provide customization. We want customization, personalization. We need to provide that.
With that then, do you have any plans to change the actual geometry of the weapons to add?
No.
There's your answer, guys.
You're not gonna
There's your answer.
You're not gonna get a unicorn.
Damn it! I'm kidding.
The dragon.
You're
not gonna get wings.
If you want the dragon, 如果你想要 dragon 的话 ，maybe 我们也许可以把这个 dragon 画在这把墙上。也许你可以有一个 point.
A skin or a texture of dragon. That's possible.
也许我们会做一些小小的形变，比如说它的，比如说某一个结构带了一些 dragon 的样子。
So there could be small adjustments to the actual model, but that's a possibility, but it's not going to be like your gun has.
啊，你不可能拿着一个 dragon 去射出子弹。
Yeah. That's I think you mentioned realism in the question, right? Like we're not totally in on realism because you can't heal a broken limb.
That's what I say.
So I think that's an aspect of it, but we're not all in on realism. And same with our gun skins and our styles. It's not all in on realism. There can be some fun. There can be some interesting new concepts and ideas.
Because it's a game at the end of the day, right? There's a realism inspiration, I guess, is what you guys can say about that. Because if you got 2 broken legs, no amount of painkillers is going to help you run on the field. So I totally understand. I'm with you on that one. Unless if you're not going to give the guns wings, then I'm going to be happy. And
事实上，我多说一句啊，事实上有很多人会担心，就是说，如果我们的 skin， 我们的这个皮肤的设计，它不够的有趣，对吧？它不够的 funny 或者怎么样，就用户会不理解、不喜欢。
So there are some players out there who worry that the customization options, the skins, they're not going to be interesting enough, or they're not going to be funny enough to fit what they want.
所以，但是我们想要尝试一下，我们想要证明一下，就是说我们在这种美学之下，我们找到一个 balance， 我们找到一个真实感或者说沉浸感，跟这种就是说 funny 跟这种有趣的这种装扮的一个 balance， 这样的情况之下设计出来的皮肤，用户仍然会喜欢，仍然会支持我们。
So by running through this military aesthetic, we want to experiment and try and see what players like, see what players don't like, and we're very much willing to do that and to test the lines, but there is a realism aspect where we're not going to be kill effects. No kill effects really, or if there is, it wouldn't be like you shoot
flashy glitter stuff. There
is a line.
Music to my ears.
We're not going to cross.
That's good to hear. Well, moving on, we have the next question, which is my question actually, because I am so sick of getting killed by other Covert players when I play as Covert, right? Will there ever be a Covert Ops karma system where players get punished for killing other militants or other imposters?
首先我觉得我们不会去惩罚，我们不倾向于惩罚 player.
First, we're not going to penalize players.
Right.
That's
对，
important.
除非你开挂。
Yeah, unless you're a cheater, then it's
对。我们认为说，玩家有权利自由的去选择怎么样去游戏，对，哪怕这个行为会导致说其他的玩家可能有点不舒服，只要它不是不公平的。
So as long as the game has 公平性 is the word. When everything's fair. There's a word for this.
No, I mean, I think there's a bit of a confusion there. So when I say punish the players for killing other Covert players, we're talking about if an imposter keeps killing another imposter, there needs to be a point where if he goes into another Covert raid, militants will start attacking them straight away. Not the devs banning them, but the game in itself, there comes a point where they're only allowed to go in with a knife.
This is, you may have the right answer. He's got the right answer.
Yeah.
He's not, I think it's, first of all, there's no penalty for playing the way you want to play. As long as it's in the system of the game and it's not impacting fairness, there's not going to be a penalty for encouraging players to play one way or another way.
Yeah.
That includes attacking other players.
我们可能他说的这个我了解，就是说实际上是有一点点这个叫做代入感的这种叫做势力也好，对吧？这里面的人会形成一些这个关系，对吧？这个世界里面的 NPC， 世界里面的这些玩家互相之间会有一些属于这个游戏的关系。
So there is this element of immersion though, which you're talking about, which is if you're a militant and you're just attacking everybody. That doesn't make sense from a lore perspective or a background perspective, right?
我们可能会出一些类似这样的设计去。不是通过那个惩罚玩家，是通过奖励你的一些行为，去构成 类似这样的一个游戏内的一个关系。
Yeah. So it's from his perspective and the design team's perspective. It's more of a carrot versus a stick. You want to probably not punish players for playing the way they want to play, but you want to encourage certain behaviors.
Yeah.
And that from that perspective, there's some ideas that can be implemented.
我举个例子，比如说我们尝试过一个运营活动，我不知道这个Global 已经有了吗？
还没有上，
还没有哈。就是玩家可以选择去扮演多斯的保镖。你跟他说。
So from a live ops perspective, one event is you can go into a game mode as one of DOS's bodyguards.
Right.
This hasn't gone online.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe it's an idea, right? An idea.
Yeah.
我们已经做了嘛，这个。
Yeah.
对。
Not launched globally.
Yeah.
It's been done already.
Well, that's a nice teaser there. So that's something that you've tested.
It's been done in China. And
it's been done in China, right?
对，我们已经尝试，我们已经做了这个模式，然后并且现在我们发现一些问题，还在调优，还在这个 modify.
So it's already been tested and launched, and there's adjustments being made to better accomplish the goals of the
Yeah.
对，我们会看到很多玩家是比较喜欢去。有这种身份，对吧？符合某种逻辑去做一些事情，所以我们到后面也会把这种玩法或者这种带有这种身份扮演的这种玩法，给继续的去做得更好吧，做得更多这样的内容。对，这可能是就是刚才跟他这个相关的一个情况。
Yeah. So we found that there's some players who really like this sense of you have an identity now. You're not just a soulless militant. You're one of DOS's bodyguards.
Yeah. Purpose.
There's players who really like that, and so there's going to be some expansion on this idea in the future. And it's maybe not a karma system like you're saying, but by going into a raid and you have an identity, it gives players a positive reward system to, hey, I'm not supposed to kill everyone. I'm supposed to protect DOS. So it's a little bit.
Yeah, like a mission within a mission.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, so to answer the question, then, you basically want to give the players the freedom to play the game however they want to play.
Yes.
Right. So therefore, a penalty for imposters killing other imposters might not be a thing just yet.
I think 是之前有尝试过。
他说的那个就是相当于像好感度或者是名誉之类的这种，对吧？
对，联络人的好感度。如果杀人，他们就会给你更不好的。
现在还没有，在后面可能会做尝试，但是就像我刚才说的，我们更倾向于说去奖励那些行为好的。
Okay.
对。
So the team's been, as far as a karma system goes, the team's aware of this idea. They're experimenting with it. They might come out in the future, but right now they're more interested in putting out these new modes that give you a positive reward instead of a punishment.
So you're actually exploring it.
Of course.
Oh. That's good, because I thought you were just ignoring us. No, that's good to hear. I understand, because there's a lot of aspects in the game where we're not quite sure what your goal is for that specific aspect. So with you answering how you just answered, definitely clears a few things up. Now, that's just me asking, if Coverts can find a way to cooperate without having to kill each other every time they see them, because you guys mentioned before that you prefer the game to be a team play game, right? Which brings me to my next question that you've actually answered before. Will there ever be solo mode?
This man needs to answer.
我们并不打算做 solo mode，因为首先我认为说，Arena Breakout 或者说暗区的这个玩法，就是一个。刚才已经讲了，是一个比较自由的一个状态。那么
，no plans to do solo mode right now。
对，所以这个里面的状态，我们并不追求公平，实际上，我们并不追求公平。
We're not going after strict competitive fairness. That's actually a part of the game that is very flexible, right? So from an event modes perspective, this is something we definitely looking into is putting out, a limited time mode where it is a very fair match. Everyone goes in on the same plate.
举个例子，我们出过一个玩法，就是说是双人队伍。对。
So like a duo mode.
Oh, okay.
You go in only 2 people.
Yeah.
Only 2 people. 然后这样的话，而且是一个focus 在这个狙击战 sniper.
Yeah. So like a duo mode for snipers only. Like that's a possibility for putting everyone on the same level.
Duo mode snipers only? Yo, what map are you thinking for that?
Huh?
Oh, are you?
也许在我们的新的地图里面。
Oh, might be on a new map.
New map.
New map.
New map.
What map, huh?
All right, okay. Snipers duo only. Yo, one can be a spotter. The other guy can be the actual sniper. You can have like a full on. Will you add binoculars that actually works?
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Or a sniper shotgun.
Yeah, I don't know what you call them.
System. Yeah, the spotter.
Spotter.
Yeah.
Single noculars. I don't know. I don't know what you call it, but yeah.
Spotter scope.
Oh, I did not expect to get that answer at all.
我们做
Oh my
了
god.
对，我们做了一些尝试，在那个一些小型的这个怎么说呢，就是我们比较封闭的这种测试服务器里面做了一些这样的尝试。
So they've tested it before on the closed testing servers.
Right.
And it's how
我们
was it?
邀请了一些玩家， 在国内，在中国邀请一些玩家，然后我们现在还在收集更多的反馈意见，可能在明年可能会尝试去推出来。
So doing on these like test servers where you get a limited number of players involved,
Yeah.
and you open these new modes for testing.
Yeah.
You get a lot of data that way, but you need to analyze that and make just changes to improve it. So it takes time to do all these new
Yeah, of course.
We want to make sure it fits the original design.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's actually a really good mode. You were talking about the map though. I do have a question, raid-related question, that we have a day and afternoon cycle so far. Will you have a day and night cycle?
So when it goes from day to night in a raid,
Yeah, in a raid, or before you go in a raid, it will give you the time that says it's 7 p.m. so it's going to be dark.
yeah.
Will you ever have that sort of?
这个怎么说呢？这个就谈到夜间的模式，就是 night mode。谈到夜间的模式，我们实际上从技术角度来讲的话，没有问题，我们是可以做的。但是呢，我们之前做过一些测试，做过一些试验，我们发现说夜间的模式可能对于很多玩家来说太吓人了，too scary。
So first we have the night mode, right? We've done the night mode, and we found that a lot of players kind of get scared from it, to be honest. 还有主要问题是有那个白夜。
所以这件事情就是这样，就是说，如果夜间模式是能够被接受的，是成立的话，那我们就可以做，因为我们的其实我们的技术上，我们在技术上游戏的技术上面我是没有任何问题的，我们做过，我们是可以从这个白天转到黑夜。
So with the perspective of we've done night mode, we know we can do it. We can do a day and night, but the night mode needs to be a more accepted mode from a player-based perspective. Players want to be willing to do night mode because that would literally be, half the time, right?
Yeah.
So that is very important.
这个一直是一个我们现在的核心的考量，一个 concern 的点，就是说怎么去服务于更多的用户啊。我们不希望做了一个 mode 或者做了一个玩法之后把大家都吓跑。
Yeah, so we want to make sure that these new modes, a main concern of ours is these new modes are servicing multiple player types, not just one player.
Yeah.
That's really important.
Yeah. Okay. Now, this next question is probably the biggest question in all of my list here, right? Will Lite mode always share lobbies with the HD version? Is that going to be a permanent thing moving forward, or are you guys thinking about splitting it? Where are you at with that based on the feedback that you guys have been getting so far?
Lite mode 我们已经看到了，它有一些不公平的一些状态在一起匹配，你可以跟他说。
We've already seen the unfair advantages that Lite mode might have over the regular version or the HD version.
Yeah.
我们也在考虑用一些方法，比如说把这个 server 把这个服务器分开，对。但是目前这些就 Lite mode 本身也是在试验，在测试。
So we've already thought about what you just mentioned, separating Lite from HD servers, and we're considering the options right now because Lite mode was an experiment. It was a test to see, is this needed? Is it useful? Does it help our players?
Yep. Because a lot of people requested light mode, right? And you guys reacted to that. Yeah.
对，我们非常不希望就是说 Lite mode 本身它是用来就是服务于那些它的设备比较差，但是他们又想玩这个游戏的。
Lite mode, the original objective was to help more players who don't have the device specs to be able to enjoy the game.
Yeah.
That was the original intention.
Yeah.
对，但是我们不希望Lite mode 变成了一个不公平的一个手段。
But we really don't want Lite to become an unfair advantage. That's not the intention.
So currently you guys are looking at it and exploring different options.
I can tell you from the global side because Lite's only available global.
Oh, okay.
And it's not in China. I can tell you from global, it's we're looking at the players and how many players play it, and we're doing the analysis of what needs to be done. Because it's like you said, there's unfair advantages, and they are there. We need to do something to address that.
Good to hear. And the last question is something that I actually want to find out for myself: is will we ever get like a bot lobby mode or a single player mode or an offline mode where you can go in the map, just fight bots, and you're not able to take anything out that can affect the economy? Good for practicing, I guess good for content in a way, but it's more so that a new player can hop in, go in the map, learn the map, a bit more, relaxed environment without bringing anything out of that map. Will you ever do something like that? Like a training mode, basically.
Yeah.
我们有考虑，其实我们有考虑做一个就是这种单机的 training mode.
We've thought about it. We've considered it.
但是就说实话是有一些问题的，有一些困难。
There's some issues when you really think about it, though.
其中一个比较大的困难是我们如果把这个就是说这个 single mode 做出来之后，可能会被一些外挂的制作者所利用。
So the main concern for us is that if we were to produce a single player mode, this could be really useful for cheaters, for hackers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
他们可能会利用这个 mode 去反拆一些服务器上面我们的一些功能或者一些策略。
They could use a single player mode like this to reverse engineer or to break down how things are being done in the game.
I did not think about that.
They could use it to open up what's the word, weaknesses, or figure out how to break.
Oh wow! I did not think about that at all like that.
这个是比较麻烦的。
That's the biggest annoyance. Something like that.
然后另外一个比较麻烦的点在于说，就是服务器成本，因为 single player 的话，那如果只为每一个 single 玩家去开放一个单局的话，那同样有可能会被有一些人恶意的侵占你的服务器成本。
Then the other important aspect for us to consider is from a server cost perspective. Because if you were to open a server for one player for one map, then the server costs, due to some malicious bad actors, not everyone would be like this, some bad actors might do this on purpose to increase server costs for us. It's a possibility we need to think about.
Right, yeah. Makes sense. But would you ever then think about having a better training ground? Because the one that we have right now is very small. Not even snipe.
That's being done.
Yeah.
It's being done.
不是 being done.
It's being
like worked upon.
已经在计划当中了，但是因为现在有很多怎么说呢？就是有很多的事情要去做，所以目前它的优先级并没有排得特别的高。
It's on the roadmap. It's not top priority because the team does have other objectives that they want to complete. So it's not the top priority, but we're aware that the current shooting range leaves something to be desired, and it can be expanded.
Based on what I've actually heard from today from you guys is that you are listening to feedback. What I think what's happening is you guys are prioritizing what's gonna be better when you release it first, based on how many people are asking for that mode, how many people will play night mode, and most importantly, how many devices can actually handle what you guys are gonna release, right? So the devs are listening. I always knew they were anyway, but from a business perspective, they just have to look at okay, it's just going to be good for the general public, the general player base, rather than just a small 5% of the player base. Am I correct on that?
For sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's been a pleasure, guys. Honestly, thank you so much for answering the questions. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys found that informative. If you have more questions, drop them in the comment section below. And I hope you guys, I guess, had fun in the interview.
Yeah.
And is there anything that you guys want to say to the viewers?
Anything you want to say to the fans?
To the fans?
Players out there?
我还是说中文啊。
Yeah, go ahead.
我非常的感谢大家能来玩我们的游戏。然后就像艾斯刚才说的，我希望大家如果有任何的问题的话，欢迎你们通过各种官方渠道，以及说我们的这些可爱的合作者们，对，来告诉我们啊。然后我们会认真的聆听大家的问题。当然，我们可能会有一些优先级的排布，有一些考虑。我也愿意说开诚布公的跟大家来讲，希望大家能够理解，能够支持我们。谢谢各位。
Thank you all for playing. You want me to?
你可以
Yeah, please.
Thank you all for playing. Really appreciate everyone's support. We welcome all of your feedback. We do read everything. And we want to see what you feel. We want to take that in. We can't do everything. We are a team of people, and we don't have infinite people, right? So it's a balancing act of making what players want, what we want, and finding that middle ground, good experience. Is that okay?
Okay.
Very creative translation.
And we wrap it up there.
Yeah.
Peace.